Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Not too bad. So today we're going to be looking at, not sure how this is pronounced, Fearmonium.
Fearmonium, alright.
I feel like it's like Pandemonium, but with fear.
Sure.
It is a very stylized Metroidvania. Obviously, it starts off with comic book style cutscenes. This is a game done by one Russian developer.
Alright.
So the translations are not great. There are some issues with grammar, spelling, and so forth. But the graphic style gets a lot better. In regards to the story, you actually play a phobia inside of this kid's head. And you are actually... It feels like you're the bad guy. Because you're actually trying to defeat his good memory. Unique and interesting concept. Unfortunately, like the spelling and grammar, it falls short a little bit, probably because of the spelling and grammar.
So he needs a localization team.
Yeah. And the one thing that you'll notice here is, and this is every time you see these comic books, it's very dense. But
yeah.
Now we get into, this is how the game looks. Very reminiscent to, like, Cuphead, eh?
Yeah. Even looking back at even to older games, like, I remember playing... there was the Barney's Adventure game on, like, the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis. And, other than the darkness now. Oh, actually, I like that shift.
Well, and that's the idea, right? Like, you are now turning his happy memories...
into something negative, yeah.
And every time you see him in the cutscenes, he's reflecting on more negative memories, people leaving in his life, losing his grandfather. Like, it's conceptually
and this definitely
very...
looks like Cuphead.
Yes. However, unlike Cuphead, it's a Metroidvania, and therefore much easier.
Yeah.
Most of the deaths... they actually came from poor controls, which is probably the biggest disappointment in the game.
Okay.
Anything that you see that might be appealing is kind of quickly taken away by very stiff controls.
Okay. But I mean, again, one guy, right? Like, I mean, you can let some things get away when it's one programmer, one person doing all the writing and stuff like that.
Yeah, the only other person involved is he has outsourced for... music.
Okay.
And yeah, honestly, aside from the translation, which can be forgivable because it's not horrible, you know, you see the odd word spelled incorrectly or anything like that, but you can understand what it's trying to say. Mm-hmm. The biggest issue is the controls for attacking primarily.
Okay.
Looks pretty alright though. Like graphically kind of interesting. I like the idea of you getting to play a bit of the bad guy, just making this kid absolutely miserable.
I mean, the wording is a little harsher than what it ends up being, but yes. The thing is, there's a lot of different gameplay mechanics in this. So, like, there was a random spot not far into the game where the character, like, inflated on, like, you know, one of those tanks for balloons.
Yep. And
you had to float up through a level. And it was actually pretty annoying because as soon as you got, like, take damage, you gotta go back to the bottom. Right?
Yeah.
There's a minecart part, which I actually do think I have in this first look. There was an old retro game that was just like a 2D runner where you're actually playing, it's supposed to be a memory of a video game that the kid played when he was young. Mm-hmm. So they mix a lot of these different gameplay elements into this. Again, certain things like, say, the balloon part, because it didn't handle too fantastically, it doesn't play as well as it seems in concept.
Yeah. Still a very interesting concept of like what you're talking about though, playing essentially the villain and ruining this kid's memories. It is very, very unique, and I mean, I kind of hope that if, let's say, this is kind of like a first draft for this guy's game, that, you know, they get the opportunity to pursue further, because that's neat.
I know I saw online a lot of comments looking at previews and trailers for this. We're hoping that it eventually gets a console release, because as of right now, it's just going to be on Steam. Mm-hmm. as long as they can clean up the controls a little bit.
Yeah.
When I say controls, I mean like if you're in the middle of a combo, so you're mashing the attack button, you can't turn around in the middle or duck in the middle. You have to deliberately take a second to stop attacking, press down to duck or turn around, and then start again. It doesn't sound like a lot, but having played video games for a long time, once you feel it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Especially since like these platforming types of games tend to rely pretty heavily on very fluid motion.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could see that being pretty annoying, like, because when you think about even like the key games in the genre, like the Marios and stuff like that, or Super Metroids, anything like that, the controls being extremely smooth and easy to quickly like change on a dime, stuff like that, or change what you're doing at a moment are so big. So yeah, I can see that being pretty annoying.
But other than that, I mean, it's got all of your different expectations of the genre. So there'll be different abilities you can unlock, like a double jump, a rocket, so that you have like a ranged attack. You'll get passive abilities that you can equip if you want. You know, for example, anytime you run by the save point to automatically save instead of having to go into the menu. All of that is there, and like the layouts of the Metroidvania, the backtracking, you can fast travel at save points, is all done very well. And honestly, if it wasn't for the little like hiccup, like the little hitch in fighting, it wouldn't be a problem. So this is the save point, and this is where you can fast travel. You can purchase items like consumables, healing packs, a resurrection item that if you die, you come back with like 50% of your health. You can also, like I said, fast travel from point to point, or even just talk to Lady Depression, who is the save state lady. She's naked in a bathtub for every save position. There's just, I guess, a lot of bathtubs.
I guess so.
So this is another one of those, like I said, mechanics. This one is very reminiscent of, like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog or a minecart level in Donkey Kong, where it's...
You're on a track and, trying to avoid things, but also collect balloons or hit balloons, I should
Balloons
say.
are your currency, so, I don't know if that's... You turn in, kind of balloons are representative of, like, happy memories. So you turn those into different vendors for items. There's some that will give you passives, like, it'll... For a price, they'll show you where certain power-ups are on the map, for example. This lovely-looking thing is a regen station. You can attack it to get health and stamina back.
Nice. And
it will be going into the first boss fight of the game. And I've noticed all the boss fights are other negative things. So, pediophobia, regression, or was it repression? So I'm still not entirely sure if you end up being a protagonist, but that's something that would have to come in later on. And of course, boss fights, different patterns, different mechanics. That being said, this boss fight will be the end of the video. What did you guys think?
I think it's really, really unique. Depending on like price point, this could be something I would play actually.
Alex?
Yeah, like I really like the idea behind it. I think that idea can definitely go a decent way, like in terms of being something that you don't expect to find in other video games, and that's always a pretty good thing. But I can't feel how the actual controls are, and if they aren't particularly great, the problem is there's so many great control games out there that I don't think I'd want to play it further.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Alex. My current opinion on it is that I don't continue after the first opinion. However, with an asterisk that if I do see a report or a patch note that says that they have refined the controls a little bit, cleaned them up, then that answer would immediately change to a continue after first impression. But that's not, unfortunately, that's not the type of thing we see patched in games too often post-launch. So for now, like I said, I don't continue after first impressions. Hey, did you like that video? If you did, be sure to let us know by clicking the like button and leaving a comment. If you want to be first in line for any new content, be sure to subscribe to our channel and then hit up our Facebook page. The link's in the description below to see what's coming up next.